Hey, welcome to Happy Tales of Happy Tales, the podcast where you'll hear stories of the way pubs have touched our hearts and our lives. So for the next few minutes, let everything else go and just listen and smile. I'm your host, Lily Jackson.
Can you hear me?
Yes, there you are. Hello.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Hanging in there. It's Saturday. That's what I'm thankful for.
I know, right? It's fun to get to see you.
I know. Hello there.
Well, thank you for doing this.
Oh, you're welcome. I was like, ooh, neato. I had never done that before. So I was like, okay.
Well, me neither. So here we go. Okay, so tell me about who we're gonna hear about today.
Well, we're gonna hear a story about, of course, my Lucy. She was with us the longest.
Oh,
And yeah, she was our little pit mix. And she was just all the way with the kids since they were babies, really, up until all of them graduated.
oh,
So she saw them through.
she raised him, right?
Pretty much, yes, ma'am. She
Oh,
sure did. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so it's funny too when you think about it because pits get that reputation, but then anyone who ever has pits, they're like, oh yeah, they raised my kids.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. There, she was an excellent babysitter. I'm telling you, she
Yeah,
was.
sweet and yes. So tell
Yeah.
tell me about Lucy.
Okay. Well, let's see. Well, I got her actually in 2005, and she she it's kind of hard. Sorry.
No, you know what? I it's funny because I totally get it. And every one of these so far, my family's like, you can't cry in all these, right? And I was like, oh no, I can. No, watch me. It's okay. So yeah, no, I get it. I get it because they're just like they're it's amazing how what they
Yeah.
are to us. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Unfortunately she had to leave us in 2018. So
Yeah.
right
Oh.
before her birthday, she'd been 14.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
anywho, yeah, she was the best. I, I can't help but I still it's been that long, almost 5 years, and I still get crazy. But
No. Yeah, no, I understand.
um but no, she was funny. She took care of the kids. She was a great babysitter. And the one thing about her is the one story I wanted to share with you. I think it rode with the family, including my mom and dad, until my dad finally had to tell her not to do it anymore. Um, but I have a sister. I have an older sister, and she hadn't seen my kids or anything. She's never met my kids up until Katie, the youngest, which now she's 22.
Yes, yes.
But she was I'd say she was about 6 or 7 years old, and it was right when we moved back to Texas. And my sister and her husband at the time decided they were going to come up and see the new house and all that, and finally meet the kids,
Right.
fully. And well, my sister came in, she met everybody, and Lucy, she was just watching her because Lucy had never met her. And we got her when I think Katie was like two and a half, 3 years old. And she took and was in the kitchen, and Katie was facing the counter to get something off the counter. Aunt Kim runs up behind her and grabs her and kisses her, picks her up. Lucy went after my sister.
Oh my goodness.
Because, like I said, she never met Kim, never dealt with
Right.
person. She's never seen anybody grab the kids, or she's never let anybody grab the kids. And her hair was full on teeth showing, and I had to get Lucy off of her. Well, Lucy, of course, being a good listener, and she behaved well. She went back over to her bed and she laid down, but she never took her eyes off of my sister. And from that day on, I would say for a good 2 or 3 years, you could say Aunt Kim's coming, and she would growl, bark, and go sit at the window. You could, and she would, or you could say even the word Kim. She would, she would just sit there and she did. I don't know what it was. She knew it for the longest. And when we went, for for family gatherings, she would at my dad's house. You could tell her that my sister was coming. Growl, go to the porch, sit on the porch, and lay down and watch the cars go by and wait. And it was the funniest thing because she was dead serious. You could, like I said, you could mention my sister's name and she would just growl and go and watch.
And don't you wish you knew what they were thinking when they
Oh,
do stuff like that?
I know it. It's like I'm like, well, I tried to, I had to explain to my dad. I said she walked up behind Katie and she grabbed her, and she's been their protectors their whole lives basically, and
Yeah.
she's never let anybody touch them outside of me and my husband. And she never forgot that. She grabbed Katie and she hugged her and kissed her and said, Katie, my and after that point, it was about 3 or 4 years, I would say, that my dad finally said, Lucy, that's enough. Don't do it anymore. And she never did. She would just give her the side eye every time. When she was at my dad's house, she'd just go lay down on her bed and she would just give her the side eye, like, I'm watching.
So, like, even when your sister showed up and she was on guard for her, she was fine. Like, she just watched her the whole time. She wasn't
She watched
ever,
her.
yeah,
Mm-mm.
but she just was like, don't trust you.
She sat where she could see Kim at all points. And if Kim went into another room, Lucy would sit at the end of the hall or wherever she was going, and she would keep an eye. She would take note of where the kids were. And I'm like, Kim, I said, you grabbed one of her babies, and she's never allowed anyone to do that. And it just dead set in her mind that Kim grabbed her baby and she was not going to let her do anything to her.
I mean, it's so sweet too, though. And it's
Mm-hmm.
so amazing that she knew what Kim meant from that point
Oh,
on. Like, she knew who that was. And
yes, ma'am.
they're so smart.
They are. And she was, of course, we all think our dogs are the smartest in the world, but she really did. You could say the word Kim and you could hear, she could be dead asleep and you would just hear her go, just growl under her breath. She was dead set against my sister doing anything. I mean, going near the kids. I was like, I would laugh. I mean, like,
Yeah.
but it got to a point where my dad said, she can't keep doing that. I said, oh,
Yes.
well, my dad, of course, she always listened to my dad. And he said, Lucy, you can't do that no more. We're not going to do that. And after that, the side eye came in. She
Isn't that funny? She's like, okay, I'll look, but I'll obey
I'll
you because,
behave.
yes.
Yeah, I'll
Oh,
behave for the weenie you're going to give me, Papa. But
yeah.
yeah, give me some turkey weenies. I'll be good.
But I'm still watching my babies. Oh,
Exactly. And she had a history that I was never afraid to, if the kids went outside, I sent Lucy with them because Lucy would never leave without someone with her. I never had to train her that. She just knew, stay with the kids, don't let them go past this point. And whenever they would go outside, I'd say, here, just put a leash on her just in case, if there's another dog that comes around, she's going to tear them up, you
yeah.
know. She liked other dogs. I'd say she tolerated them, but she knows that they had bad intentions. She was going to get rid of them real quick.
Yeah. She was protecting.
Exactly, and she would not let the kids get in any kind of bad situation. I always sent her out with them. Hey, keep an eye on the babies, and she did. She made
That's
sure everybody was back
funny.
in the house.
Oh, that's so sweet. It's
Yep.
funny when Landry was born, we had 4 dogs at the time. And, of course, there's some people that were, oh my goodness, you can't have a newborn and I was like, oh no, and we laughed because they all 4 had very different reactions to her being in the house. All of them were positive, like none of them had a negative reaction. But the one that always I thought was the sweetest is we had a little guy who was a border collie, probably lab mix,
Uh-huh.
and we rescued him. And I think someone had not been very kind to him because he was kind of skittish, and a little timid.
Yeah.
sweetest, gentlest personality. But it was funny because at first we thought that he really just didn't even notice she was there. And then all of a sudden, after we had her home for a day or two, I realized he never got too close to her. He never messed with her too much. But then I realized that he laid across the threshold of the door of whatever room she was in.
Oh,
And then
that, yeah.
he didn't mess with her. He didn't act like he was jealous. He also didn't act too curious about her.
Hmm.
But he, like, within a day, knew I no one's getting to her without passing by me first.
Yeah, he was protecting her. He
He
knew to
did.
take care of the little one. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's where, and anytime if we couldn't find Murphy, we'd look and Murphy would be laying, he'd be right outside the door, or if the door was open, he'd be in the threshold and you would have to step over him to get into the room if she was in that room.
Oh wow, what a task trying to get past him if he didn't
Yeah.
know who he
Well,
was.
he never, like, there was never a situation, I guess, where he felt like anyone was a threat to her, because he never got aggressive with anyone about it. But he was going to make sure that he knew everyone, that, like, no one was going to get by him without him approving first.
Oh, of course, yeah, I know, and they're just absolutely. I think that everybody has that one dog, that one buddy
Yeah.
that there's no comparison, and after they leave, I think that's the problem. Like what I had is like comparing other dogs to Lucy. There's no
Yeah.
comparison why it fails. And I finally found the munchkin I got now. I had to put her out there because she won't let me put her down. Um,
Well,
but
she's welcome here too, obviously.
yeah, she is. I think she's up to 3 pounds now. She's a little bitty thing, and she's a mess. She gets the zoomies now. She's gotten where she can walk and run good. So, but yeah, they're awesome, and basically Lucy helped raise the kiddos, and
Oh.
they loved her from the time she came into our family to the time she left. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, thank you. And it's funny because different people refer to it, and I get it. They talk about how you have that one that's like your heart dog. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes over a lifetime, you have several that, like you said, you kind of tend to compare or whatever. But it's funny because I think about it and I was like, all of them that I've ever had that have rescued me, um, all of them, I love them all. Like, anytime if they're gone, you're just so sad. But I was like, you have those ones where I said, it's almost like your family or your story is a puzzle, and
Yeah.
all of them are a piece of the puzzle, and the picture wouldn't be complete, but there are some of them that are the piece that fits right into your piece.
Exactly. Yep. Yep.
That they just, like, they know when you're sad, they know when you're happy, they know where they need to be when you need them to be there the most. It's just like you're in sync with them. And then the thing too is that sometimes you get the new ones and they're little and they're fun and they're kind of like with the floofs. The floofs are two now, and they're still ridiculous. But I
Yeah.
laugh because now we're seeing them becoming even more and more snuggly and more affectionate. And it's like they're even figuring out more when, oh, maybe I need to stop tearing this up and come over there and snuggle you. Maybe you need a snuggle
Yeah.
right now,
Got a, got a better choice on the other side besides the one choice. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
Oh, okay.
self-destruct choice.
Yeah. So, well,
Yeah.
and thank you so much. Lucy was beautiful. And
But saw the frog hat that she let the kids dress her up.
yes, I saw that. I was like, oh my gosh. So,
Yeah.
yes, I will definitely share the pictures of Lucy, and it's the sweetest face, just the
Yeah,
sweetest
she
face.
really was. Yeah.
Well, okay. Now that you have the new little peanut, you're going to have to come back and share those stories.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I sure will. Yeah, she's. If I could just get her off of me for 5 minutes, I might get some good stories.
Right. I know. I know. They're so the
Yeah.
best, though. You're just
Yes,
like,
they are.
it's so funny how you go through that cycle of, like, when they're little, you're just like, oh my goodness, it's so much work. And they're like a little baby. And then all of a sudden, the days are long and the years are short. And then
Yes.
all of a sudden, you're looking, and like, my oldest twins are at my feet right now, and they're both going to be 13 this year, and I remember
Gray hair start to creep in on them.
the
That's the hard.
frosty faces.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I know.
Exactly.
I always say, though, it's a privilege to earn a frosty face.
Yes, it is. Yes, I totally agree.
Yeah.
I love Lucy's little frosty face.
I know. And then you think, oh, of course, most recently for me, my little Roscoe. And I think what I wouldn't give just to be able to kiss that little nose one more time.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes,
So,
all day.
well, Terry, thank you so much. I sure appreciate you.
You're welcome, and I'm so glad to see you and hear from you. I see you in person. I ask you math questions. I don't get to see you.
Well, that's always my pleasure too. I love that. So,
Oh, thank you, because I get stuck.
yeah. No, we all do. So that's why we need each other. So,
Exactly. But yeah, just holler at me out. If she ever does anything ingenious or crazy, I'll let you know.
oh my goodness, yes, yes, I would love it so much. So, but I will talk to you soon. But have a great weekend.
You too. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you so much for joining me today. I know that you are busy, and I really appreciate that you chose to spend some of your time with me. So, let's do a little bit of bookkeeping before we head out. If you enjoy this and you would like to receive the episodes automatically without having to seek them out, then in your podcatcher, follow or subscribe. And that way, every time an episode drops, it'll show up for you and you'll know that it's there. Makes it super easy. You don't have to think about it. Please go visit the website. It's really cute. It's got puppy pictures. Also, I've got a free gift for you over there if you will go check it out. And if you would like to message me, if you have any suggestions, specific pup stories you want to hear, or even better, if you want to share a story, you can message me right there from the website. That's the best way to get to me for that. Check us out on all the different socials, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, all of them. That's where you'll see pictures of the pups that we talk about each week. Also just other fun pup things. I'm going to put episodes on YouTube as well. Sometimes the episodes are recorded via Zoom, and so there's video. A lot of times it's just us talking, but every now and then there are some fun cameos from puppies or there's shenanigans in the background, and you can catch all that on YouTube. If you want to help me out, if you would leave a positive review and share the podcast, that would be fantastic. I would be really grateful. And once again, if you want to help me out, I would love to share your story. So please hit me up and let's schedule a time that we can talk. Some people have shared their stories in writing. Some people have gotten on the phone and done a chat with me. So we can do whatever you are most comfortable with. Finally, do not forget that you are as great as your dog thinks you are, and go smooch your pooch. Thanks, y'all.